Hello and welcome to your astrology and spirituality overview for Wednesday, the 13th of January. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you so much, Elisa. Well, today, of course, is the new moon. The new moon in the powerful sign of Capricorn. Why is Capricorn powerful? It's because it's the 10th zodiac sign. It's governed by Saturn, which is to do with stability, but it's also to do with tradition, how it's always been done, if you like, and that can often be an extremely positive thing because it creates a sense of security and structure, which we can all really appreciate. And this new moon is quite unique because it's combining with Pluto. Now, Pluto is all about change and transformation. In a kind of wider context, we're seeing that some old industries are making way for newer technologies. And that, I think, can be a very positive thing because obviously when it comes to petrochemicals and our reliance on the internal combustion engine, that's not been great for the environment. So if we're finding new ways to do things, that's broadly good. But of course, in the early days of developing new technologies, you could be making electric cars, but they may have massive batteries that will then ultimately become a problem to get rid of when those cars have reached the end of their life. So we're in the early days, so we're very much in a transition phase for society between the way we used to do things and an emerging way of doing things, which is going to be much more information-led. It's going to be around communication, community and society, which comes from the values of Aquarius. So I think this can be a time when we can celebrate hard work, application, perspiration that's brought us material success if we're lucky enough to be in that situation. But it's also an opportunity to see where we can move on from that more consumption-led mindset. And so I think this is going to be a powerful next month. The thing with Pluto, transformations don't necessarily have to be in a physical context. Capricorn's very much to do with buildings, it's to do with property, it's to do with business, it's to do with resources, it's to do with success, our standing in society, status, all these kind of things. But do you know, Pluto works at a very internal level as well. So maybe we can start growing and developing in a different way deep within ourselves around all those topics. So it's not necessarily that suddenly we're going to give up our home and go and live in a yurt because we're going to get closer to nature. I don't think that's what it's about. I think maybe it's about modifying, so we take the best of those traditional approaches but embrace some new ones which reinvigorate society and bring us closer together as person kind.
Although I think some of us would like to go and live in a yurt away from everyone.
Actually, I gave a reading to a lady last year who makes them or designs them.
I love that.
A very lovely lady and who's very successful at it. So there's a lot of appetite for that, certainly in Britain.
Yeah.
And what cards have you chosen, Elisa?
So today we are using the Magical Unicorn Oracle cards. I love them. They're so playful and fun, but they're also very directive. So let's see what the message comes out for us today. Woo! Okay, that's
one shot out.
Okay, the word on this card is love. And it says here, the answer that you're seeking is love.
That's very true, isn't it?
It's so sweet, this, but it's also very deep. You know, there can be so many times in our lives when we have problems. We could have problems with a partner. We could have problems with a child.
I'm glad you're not looking at me at this. Glad you're saying this.
We could
have you, Butler.
We could have problems with a number of things, our job, whatever it is. But there was a reason we applied for that job in the first place. There was a reason we went out with our partner in the first place. There's a reason that, you know, people decide to have children. It's remembering those reasons when things get a little bit tough, because love is that glue, is that thread. And sometimes it can get a little bit forgotten in the crazy world that we live in. A lot of people just tend to see love as sort of some kind of fantastical
or even a commodity.
Yeah.
It's actually, it requires investment.
Yeah, it does.
It's about giving.
Investment.
It's not just about getting.
No, it's like a plant. I know this analogy is used so many times, but if we plant a plant and don't water it, it's not going to grow.
You're always telling me off for watering the money trees.
Yes, but you're not supposed to water the money trees so that they shrivel up. That's
honestly, the amount of telling offs I've had, you've had no idea.
The money plants only
I've really had to fall back on love, you know.
The money plants only need a little bit of water, and then, you know, Patrick comes in with a hose pipe full. Anywho. Anyhows. But I do love you.
Thank you very much. That's very generous of you. Gosh, I'm going to have a great day knowing that, aren't I? Shucks.
But yeah, just remember those things that, you know, are important to our soul, are important to our growth, the things that actually really matter.
I think that's brilliant. I think that goes with the new moon in a wonderful way. We all know the new moon's about setting our intention. So if we do want to see something improve around our practical reality, that's a great time to go for it. If we want to feel more secure with what we have and appreciate what we've had, it's very, very hard to appreciate things sometimes when we have so much. But someone wrote to me on YouTube today saying that they'd gone through a massive loss about 6 years ago and that grief had taught them so much about gratitude. And I thought it was so profound, and I can really relate to that when we don't have things, we can so much more appreciate things. And it is possible to not realise how lucky we are, even if there's some elements of our situation which is seriously not what we want.
Yeah. Thank
So,
you.
from the A team, it is...
Goodbye from him.
And it's goodbye from Elisa. Goodbye.
Goodbye.